Have you noticed that your mind works differently than it did years ago? Maybe you're slower to remember a name, but faster to understand what really matters. The truth is, your mind does change after 50, but not in the simple way most people think. It's not just decline. It's a complex transformation that includes both challenges and surprising advantages that nobody explains clearly. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how your mind changes after 50, what you might lose, what you gain, and why some changes might be better than you think. Stay with me until the end because what we share today might completely change how you think about your aging mind. Now, let's get started. What you might notice, processing speed slows down. One of the first changes people notice after 50 is that their processing speed slows down. This means it takes a little longer to absorb new information, switch between tasks, or come up with a word you're searching for. You might notice this when someone asks you a question and you need an extra moment to formulate your answer, or when you're learning new technology and it takes more time to understand than it would have years ago. This slower processing speed isn't about losing intelligence. Your brain is still just as capable of understanding complex ideas, but the speed at which information moves through your neural pathways has decreased slightly. Think of it like a computer that's still powerful but has a slightly slower processor. The work still gets done, it just takes a bit more time. Robert, a 67-year-old man, noticed this when he tried to learn a new software program at his volunteer job. 20 years ago, he would have picked it up in an afternoon. Now it took him a few days of practice. At first, he felt frustrated and worried about his mental sharpness. But once he understood that this was normal and didn't reflect his overall intelligence, he gave himself permission to take the extra time he needed without judgment. The key is to adjust your expectations and be patient with yourself. Allow extra time for learning new things. Don't compare your current processing speed to your younger self. Focus instead on the fact that you can still learn and understand, just at a different pace. Slow and steady still gets you where you need to go. What you gain: better emotional regulation. Here's something nobody tells you about aging: your emotional regulation actually improves after 50. This means you're better at managing your emotions, staying calm under pressure, and not getting as rattled by things that would have upset you when you were younger. Research shows that older adults experience fewer negative emotions and recover more quickly from stressful situations than younger people. This happens for a few reasons. First, your brain's emotional control centers mature and become more efficient. Second, you've accumulated decades of life experience that gives you perspective. You've been through challenges before and survived, so new challenges feel less overwhelming. And third, you simply care less about things that don't matter, which reduces unnecessary emotional stress. Margaret, a 63-year-old woman, noticed this change dramatically. In her 30s and 40s, she'd get anxious about work deadlines, upset by criticism, and stressed by social obligations. Now, she finds herself much calmer. When something goes wrong, she can step back, assess it rationally, and respond without the emotional spiral she used to experience. She doesn't sweat the small stuff anymore because she can clearly see what's actually small. This improved emotional regulation is a genuine gift of aging. It makes relationships easier, reduces stress-related health problems, and increases overall life satisfaction. You're not becoming emotionally numb, you're becoming emotionally wise. Embrace this change as one of the unexpected benefits of getting older. What changes? Working memory gets trickier. Working memory is your brain's ability to hold and manipulate information in the moment, like remembering a phone number long enough to dial it, or keeping track of several ingredients while cooking. After 50, working memory becomes less reliable. You might walk into a room and forget why you went there, lose track of what you were saying mid-sentence, or struggle to juggle multiple pieces of information at once. This is frustrating, but it's important to understand that it's not the same as dementia or serious memory loss. Your long-term memories remain intact. You can still remember events from your past, facts you learned years ago, and deeply ingrained skills. It's the temporary, in-the-moment holding of information that becomes more challenging. Thomas, a 69-year-old retiree, would start cooking dinner, get distracted by a phone call, and completely forget he had something on the stove. He worried this meant something serious was wrong. But his doctor explained it was normal age-related working memory changes, not a disease. Once Thomas understood this, he started using strategies to compensate. He'd write things down immediately, use timers when cooking, and focus on one task at a time instead of multitasking. The solution is to adapt rather than panic. Use external memory aids like notes, reminders, and lists. Reduce distractions when doing important tasks. Give yourself permission to focus on one thing at a time. These strategies help you work around the limitations without feeling defeated by them. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. Your support helps us keep creating good content. Now, let's continue. What you gain: enhanced pattern recognition and wisdom. Here's another advantage that comes with age: your ability to recognize patterns and see the big picture actually improves. You become better at understanding complex situations, predicting outcomes based on experience, and making sound judgments. This is what we call wisdom, and it's a cognitive strength that only develops over time. Your brain has accumulated decades of experiences, successes, failures, and lessons learned. This creates a rich database that your mind can draw from when facing new situations. You can quickly see parallels to things you've experienced before, identify what's truly important versus what's superficial, and make decisions based on deep understanding rather than surface-level information. This is why older adults often make excellent advisors, mentors, and decision-makers. They may not be as quick with facts and figures, but they're better at seeing the full context and understanding implications that younger people miss. Helen, a 71-year-old grandmother, noticed this when her adult daughter was stressed about a career decision. Helen didn't need to research every detail or analyze it like a younger person might. She could see immediately, based on her own life experience and understanding of her daughter, what the right path was. Her wisdom cut through all the noise and confusion and provided clarity that hours of logical analysis couldn't match. Recognize and value this growing wisdom. Trust your instincts and insights, which are built on decades of learning. Don't dismiss your gut feelings as irrational, they're often your brain's pattern recognition working at its best. This is one of the real treasures of an aging mind. What changes? Less mental flexibility, more mental stability. After 50, your brain becomes less flexible but more stable. Mental flexibility is the ability to adapt quickly to new situations, change your thinking on the fly, and learn radically new ways of doing things. This does decrease with age. You might find yourself preferring routines, feeling resistant to unnecessary changes, or taking longer to adjust when things don't go as planned. But here's what you gain in exchange: mental stability. Your core beliefs, values, and sense of self become more solid and consistent. You're less likely to be swayed by others' opinions, less prone to identity crises, and more confident in who you are. While a younger person's mind might be more adaptable, it's also more scattered and uncertain. Your mind is more grounded and sure. Frank, a 68-year-old man, noticed he had a harder time adjusting when his company implemented new procedures at work before he retired. It frustrated him that he couldn't adapt as quickly as younger colleagues. But he also recognized that he had a clarity about his values and priorities that they didn't have. He knew what mattered to him, what he stood for, and what he was willing to compromise on. That stability was valuable in its own way. The key is to recognize when flexibility is truly needed and when your stability is actually an asset. Stay open to important changes, but don't feel pressure to change just for the sake of change. Your more settled mind is not a weakness, it's a strength that brings consistency and confidence to your life. What you gain: better focus on what matters. One of the most remarkable changes after 50 is that your brain becomes better at filtering out what doesn't matter and focusing on what does. Younger people often struggle with information overload, trying to pay attention to everything and feeling scattered as a result. After 50, your brain naturally prioritizes more effectively. This is partly due to experience. You've learned what's worth your attention and what isn't. But it's also a cognitive shift. Your brain becomes less reactive to every stimulus and more selective about where it directs energy. This means you might miss some details, but you catch the important things more reliably. This selective attention is why older adults often report feeling less stressed by trivial matters. They're not oblivious, they're focused. They've developed the mental equivalent of noise-canceling headphones that filter out the unimportant static and let them concentrate on meaningful signals. Dorothy, a 66-year-old woman, noticed she no longer got caught up in workplace drama or petty disputes like she used to. While her younger colleagues would spend hours upset about office politics, Dorothy could see clearly what was important: her actual work and relationships, and what was just noise. This mental clarity made her more productive and much happier. Embrace this shift toward focused attention. Don't worry if you're not catching every detail or keeping up with every trend. Your brain is doing you a favor by helping you focus your limited energy on what truly matters. This is efficiency through wisdom. Final thoughts as we come to the end of this video. I hope you have a clearer understanding of how your mind really changes after 50. Yes, processing speed slows down and working memory becomes trickier. But you also gain better emotional regulation, enhanced pattern recognition and wisdom, mental stability, and sharper focus on what truly matters. Your aging mind isn't simply declining. It's transforming, trading certain types of quick processing for deeper understanding, wisdom, and emotional maturity. These changes are adaptations that help you function effectively in this stage of life, where experience and judgment matter more than raw speed. The key is to work with your changing brain, not against it. Give yourself extra time when learning new things. Use tools and strategies to support your working memory. But also recognize and celebrate the cognitive gifts that come with age: your emotional balance, your wisdom, your mental stability, and your ability to see what really matters. Your mind at 50, 60, 70, and beyond isn't a lesser version of your younger mind. It's a different version, with its own strengths and weaknesses, its own way of processing the world. When you understand these changes clearly, you can adapt your approach, appreciate your strengths, and continue growing mentally for decades to come. Thank you for joining us today. Leave a comment below and share which mind change resonated most with you or surprised you. Your thoughts are important to us. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.